Hello, Carol Taylor-Kearney here at Powell Arts, and I'm standing next to Lankin, who I've known for quite a time. I think we first met at Critz in Philadelphia,
I think so.
And we're both with Cerulean Arts, great gallery. And anyway, we are standing next to his very colorful work, and Alan does all very colorful works, and he's going to introduce us to this beautiful piece.
Okay, well, I do a variety of media. I do a lot of painting acrylic on canvas. I also do works on paper, and this particular one is a mixed media collage. And there's a lot of elements in it. There's pieces from other paintings or other drawings that I cut apart and reuse for this, and then there's elements drawn on top of it. And there's acrylic, watercolor, graphite, gouache, variety of media.
And you can really see that. And one of the things that I find really interesting is, like you're saying, collage from other paintings, and so you have these rectangles, and this rectangle's broken out into a grid, and then there's two that are piled one on the other, and it's broken out into a grid. And this one, it has more of a stripy kind of sensation, but each one of them kind of makes me think of windows. And were you thinking of windows into this? Were you thinking about playing with the picture plane? Obviously, you were thinking about kind of integrating them. But I was wondering about your process as far as.
I wasn't really thinking about windows, although I've done some of my paintings kind of have windows in them. But I was thinking more of the surface, and these are done with improvisation. I really don't know how it's going to end up. So I may start with a couple pieces and then paint on it and then add some more. So it's kind of a time, what do you call it? It unrolls as I do it.
I have a question related to that, which is, so these little snippets of the painting, other works that paintings and drawings that you've integrated, do you know you're going to use them in advance, or as you're developing the piece, you think, this would work great here, and then you add it in?
Well, I have some pieces of cut up paintings around, and
all artists do, because you guys are secretly hoarders.
And I'd probably start with some of the pieces that I have lying around as a starting point, and then go from there.
Well, I also know that having seen your work before, there is something about the city in it that it could be architecture, buildings, the masses of people, those kinds of different structures. Were you thinking about those kinds of things when you were doing this, or it's just just the reaction?
Well, I am thinking about urban spaces, but I'm also thinking about landscapes too. So so it kind of goes back and forth. Like these lines are more, they could be people or things.
Yeah, I think of them as being figurative, because I believe the title is Whisper.
Yes.
So that's what I always like. I read it and then I'm always like, don't mess it up, Caroline. But what I thought was so interesting is you do have the gridding and then these figures that look like they're whispering amongst each other, or a whispered breeze. They could be a lot of different things.
Yeah. I also like what you're doing with the color palette, the lightness at the top left-hand corner. It's a little more grounded as far as color goes at the bottom. And it's funny that, like, these in some way feel like cooler. The rectangles that are on top feel cooler, and some of the underpainting at the bottom, layer feels warmer. Do you think about value and
warm versus cool?
Yeah, as you do these, or it's just, this is stuff I've studied and it just comes out?
It's probably mostly subconscious. I want to have some kind of balance in it. And there's also, you'd have to look closely, but there's other small pieces that are collaged here besides these like larger.
Yeah,
larger
and they
square
sit
ones.
forward because both their density and because they're literally forward.
And some of them kind of get pushed back and some stay forward.
I think there's a nice amount of mirroring in this piece too. You not only mirror different things, like a lot of people mirror like this, but you're also mirroring diagonally, which I think is nice. It, like, to my mind, the way that the yellow mirrors the orange and the blue card mirrors the blue in the upper right corner. And then it also kind of mirrors across to the blue that grounds the corner in the bottom right. Like, there's a variety of ways of mirroring that I wouldn't call symmetrical exactly, but it seems like a conversation between the different areas of the piece. So I don't know if that's intentional, but that's how I see it. And I find that really interesting in a piece that's called Whispers.
I want to have some kind of balance.
Yeah.
And, a mixture of symmetry and asymmetry.
Yeah.
And symmetry can be left and right, and top and bottom, and diagonal.
Yeah.
And if you've done crossword puzzles.
Which I think
I
think that's really funny, because I think when people think of symmetry, they think the left and the right, they match. The top and the bottom, they match. And they don't think about the bottom corner and the top corner. And like, they
also don't think necessarily about the negative spaces.
Yes. And this has,
this play between positive and negative, and it's not just on the collaged elements that are put in, but within the collaged elements themselves.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more interesting. But one of the other things I was wondering is, as the artist, where do you think this work should find a home? Office building, someone's dining room, someone's living room. What is there a place that you think, other than a museum, of course, where do you think this is where this should go?
That's an interesting question. I hadn't thought about that, but it's kind of a small working scale, so it would be probably good if it's somewhere where people can come up and look at it closely, as well as from further away, so maybe someone's living space or individual office.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we love doing in our own homes, and we've started doing here, is we love placing a small, like, intimate piece over top of like a table at an entrance, or by a light switch, where you, like, the main light switch of the house, because then you look at it every day and you're right up close to it. And I can just see this being over like such a nice, like, table, like right there where you can look and engage with it and kind of rest for a second. So, but it would look beautiful anywhere, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And also, I'm biased because right as you walk into my set of rooms in my house, I have a piece that I love right over top of a tableware.
Yeah, and people should be reminded every day of how much they love art and how much art can communicate to them.
Yeah. We were talking to an artist yesterday about how pieces grow with you, and we talked with this particular artist about touchstones a lot, because her works, she thinks of them as touchstones, how they can ground you and remind you of the larger narrative of your life and put things in perspective, and they grow with you over time. And so we like to have pieces that you can integrate into your house every day. So,
and this is one of them.
And also, it would be beautiful in a museum. That goes without saying. So
we aim high.
We aim for all things.
But okay, so when a viewer comes up to look at this, what are some of the things, or where is an area that you would want them to enter and then start to go?
Yeah, what do you want them to enter and then, like, kind of take in? Like, what do you want them to take from this? What kind of conversation do you want it to be having?
Well, I'm flexible. They could come in anywhere. I don't want to direct the viewer, and I like being able to have different interpretations of the work. So, I can't really answer that question, but interesting works to me are ones that you can look at over time and see new things.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes paintings are really nice, but you look at them and they stay the same. They don't change. And it's nice when you can look at things and be surprised, or see something new.
I agree. We always talk about like the brilliant little secrets that when you get up close, you're like, oh, I did not even notice that before. So
Yeah.
that are like a beautiful surprise. You almost go, like you catch your breath and you're like, look at that. So
Well, the other thing about this that I didn't say is how much it reminds me from its glow of a stained glass window.
yeah.
You know, it has that kind of glow. You can put it in any kind of room that lacks light, and you will have a piece of light.
Well, and also
Right
because
there.
of the different density of the materiality that you've used, some more opaque than others, it gives you idea of how the sun hits some areas, but some areas are more opaque depending on the time of day, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Well, it's a lovely work.
Thank you.
So, please come see Whisper at Powell Arts from August 2nd
do.
to August 7th.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.